You are very special.
Hey everyone, you're about to watch part 2 of my conversation with Patricia Farrell and Dev. And in this second half, it is just Patricia and I sitting down talking about all of the different things that we didn't explore in Dev's conversation, more on the spiritual side of physical mediumship and different experiences that Patricia has had in her life. So tune in and get ready for this conversation.
What makes you different? Like I said, when I first started, I think I started going to Yvette's meditation group back in like maybe 1998, something like that. And I always say this, it was only $5. That woman has never increased the price of her meditation. Never. Never. Anyway,
God's work.
I know it. So now I'm like doing this thing and I'm meditating and it's foreign to me, right? And then John Edward was getting big on TV, and he was my first real exposure to a medium.
Wow.
And I'm like watching this guy give these messages to these people, which then just turned into, wait a minute, what does happen to you after you die, right? Like, what is going on here? What is the bigger picture? So I'm meditating, I'm watching John Edward, I'm, intrigued, and I'm asking all these questions. And then before I know it, right, this was interesting. So once you start meditating and you kind of like start getting into it, I called myself like a meditating junkie. I was just like, it was like my crack. I'm not
Every
kidding. I was like,
day.
let me get into a meditation, right? Because it was so intriguing. What is this? What is going on here, right? How am I seeing these things? What is going on? So I kid you not, I get into this meditative state of mind the one night. Now we're talking like 1998. This is like way back.
The year I was born.
And I see myself walking down the aisle of a church, and my deceased grandfather is there. My first real death when I was 14 years old hit me in just like, disbelief, right? Here's my grandfather. What? And he just like smiles at me and he just kind of like nods for me to kneel. So I did. And then I'm not dictating what's going on. It's more like I'm observing what's going on. And he like nods up to the cross. And basically, I just looked up at the cross and I just said this. I want to do what John Edward does. That was it. That was the end of the meditation. That was it. Now I'm going to this, right, meditation group every Saturday. All of a sudden now, instead of me doing whatever Yvette's like saying, picture yourself on a beach. Now, all of a sudden, and it wasn't always the same group, so you had total strangers there and stuff like that. All of a sudden, everybody's deceased loved ones are standing in front of me and they're like, can you give her a message? Can you give him a message? Can you do this thing? So now I'm not even meditating anymore. And it's so funny too, because sometimes the meditation, like the facilitator will ask people, like, what did you experience? And the person sitting next to me is like, I saw blue, which is fabulous. Don't get me wrong. You saw blue. Yeah, it means something, right? But then she would get to me and I'd be like, well, your father's in spirit and he told me to tell you this. I have a message for you too. Blah, 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 blah. And this is where Yvette and Sarah started to notice that I was giving these messages to all these people. Meanwhile, I'm working my 9 to 5 accounting job. I'm doing a thing. And they started to notice this and they were like, hey, do you want to be our medium? I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, get paid for this? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm intrigued with it. I'm like, I wanna know what's going on here too. Okay, cool beans. So I did the parallel thing. Working my 9 to 5 and now I'm starting to build up my clientele, working at a mystical world whenever I can, because my older son was young at the time and he's in football. I literally would get out of the 9 to 5 or pick him up, throw a banana down his throat, put his football uniform on him, get him to football practice, run to Lyndhurst, go to Mystical World, take a client, be intrigued by this, run back to the football field, right? Pick them up. So we did this for a long time. But then it got to the point where I'm doing this and I said, this is my passion. So what makes you shine? Literally work makes me shine. Teaching makes me shine. That's where my light is. That's where I just go like, right? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Wake up, poke, 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 everybody wake up, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how it started happening. Then I just dropped the 9 to 5 and I was like, everybody thought I was crazy too, but I knew that I
Mhm.
knew. I was like,
When
"Oh, you're gonna drop your 401k, you're gonna drop your benefits, you're gonna drop your," I'm like, you know what I've discovered?" And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Y'all in a box. You're in the box." You know what I've discovered? There's no box in my world. No box. So then I just started doing that, and it just took off. I mean, it's insane, and like I said, I feel like I'm only scratching the surface, and yet it's phenomenal to, like, right off the bat, you know?
what do you think, like, where's the potential? What do you think is more to be discovered? And specifically, I'm most fascinated about how we could kind of bridge the woo and what people perceive as the woo, but like the spiritual realm and the science realm. And the reason why I just keep coming to science is because my mind is logical. So I like to have just like concrete kind of frameworks that I could go to and be like, oh, that's, quantum entanglement. That's just my word for connection. That's just
Yeah.
whatever it is. But like, what do you what do you think science can learn from your industry and realm, and then vice versa if these two met? And I feel like these two were together at some point in
Oh,
time, but
absolutely.
they just became separated. So like, do you think it's the return of this convergence of
Oh,
disciplines?
absolutely. Absolutely. I would say one where I really get that rise up of energy, because I know the physical mediumship. I know it works. There's, like, no doubt in my mind about it. It's like, I don't even really quite understand what's going on there. I just know if I find it and I can transmute it, it's done. So, I would say I get this big rise. One of the thing I cannot stand, it is probably a prayer that I pray over the mass consciousness constantly, is suffering.
Mm.
I cannot stand to see another soul suffer in any way, shape, or form. My heart of compassion just goes like, "Boo, boo." So I'm always praying over the world, right? And I'm just like, "Lord, we gotta end this suffering. Use me here as your hands, your feet, your mouth. How do we do this?" Right? How do we do it? So I would say with my physical mediumship, and don't get me wrong, I always love a good ghost hunt. Bring me some poltergeist activity, like, don't get me wrong, I'm like a kid in there's drool coming. I always say the evil house that everybody else is running out of, I'm running in it like, "What's in there? I wanna know what's in there." Because 'Cause I'm not scared, because I understand it's just energy, and I understand, I'm just gonna say, the authority I have in the other realms, so it could be the biggest, baddest thing. I'm gonna walk right up to them and be like, "What are you doing to these people?"
Get
And don't
out
get
of
me
here.
wrong, I love all that, it's intriguing, but I would say, when I say I'm scratching the surface, what I'm really interested in is using the physical mediumship to help people heal with whatever it is. I've had people literally, I remember reading some guy, this is what's popping in my head, group environment. I saw this energy coming out of his foot. I was like, "You got some funk coming out that right foot, man." And he was like, "I have gout in that foot." I said, "I can see it." I said, "It's coming out. It's this real putrid green type energy." I'm like, so then I analyzed it for him, and I said, "This is the emotional energy or the thought energy of why that gout is in your foot." He completely understood what I was saying. He's like, "Yes, you're right." I said, "Okay, let's transmute it." And I transmuted the energy, and I happened to his daughter happened to, like, come to my group or something like that. Like, I saw her, like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, she's like, "Do you know the gout got out of my father's foot when you did that?" I would
Holy
say
crap.
probably one of the most amazing stories is this horse. His name is Skylar, he's crossed over at this point in the game. But Sky was such a great teacher to me. I wasn't even there for the horse. I wasn't doing horse communication. I got pulled into this horse ranch because the horses were getting spooked, kinda like in one area. So you got this major animal just, trotting along, and then all of a sudden, like, "Rah," like, freaking out. So I got called in for, like, a land cleanse. What is going on here that these horses keep getting spooked? And I never want them to give me information. I'm like, all right, I'll just come out. Let's help the horses. I did end up seeing, I said, it was in the indoor riding ring. And I said, there is something over there in that corner. That's where they all get spooked. Yes, that's where they get spooked. Let's get rid of it. I told them what it was. We got rid of it. So it turned into this whole land cleansing, right? So somehow I end up in this completely different barn. We're like way across, and we walk in this barn, and this one horse starts going nuts. Nuts. And I happen to be with the owner of the horse. He starts going nuts. I walk up to this horse. She's like, oh, that's my horse, Skylar. She's like, I don't know why he's freaking out. And I just looked at him. When he and I made eye contact with each other, I'm like, I know this horse. I knew the soul of this horse. There was no doubt in my mind about it. I said, what is this? Why is he not in the other barn? And she said, it's a rehab barn. I said, oh, okay. Don't tell me. I asked Skylar, Sky, what's going on? What? And he points to his back. I think it was his left leg, like his back left leg. And he directs my clairvoyancy there. He said, it's like arthritis. So I said it to the owner, and she said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. She said, and he has to retire. So he was a show horse and he has to retire. And she said, it's so sad because he loves showing so much. She said, and because of this that's going on in his back leg, he has to retire. I asked Sky, I said, do you want to retire? He said, no. I said, okay. I took my hand, I put it on this horse's third eye. I put it right on his head. And I said, Sky, direct the energy that I'm giving you to your back leg, right? Did the thing. I saw that back leg pop in gold light. It popped. I looked at her and I said, this horse is healed. I said, he don't have it anymore. She's like, what? And I knew in that moment it was my, let's just say, faith of knowing I'm giving him this energy and his will to continue to show. So it's actually the phrase I use for Skylar. When faith gets combined with will, miracles happen, right? Okay. So she says, you know what? She says, the vet's going to come in a few days. I'm not going to tell him you were here. I said, don't. I said, because she said he's going to check his leg. I said, don't. Let me know what happens. Okay. She texted me and she said, the only word I have for this is dumbfounded. She said that vet did some kind of like, I don't know, thing, on
Ultrasound,
there.
whatever.
Yeah. And he stood up and he was like looking at the horse. He's looking at her and he's like, this horse is healed. And she was like, that's what the medium said. And he's like, what are you even talking about? So she told him what happened. And he said, no, honey, you don't understand. He said, there's not even scar tissue. It's not
Wow.
even scar tissue. It's like it never even happened. And so I said, so when she told me that, I said, so he doesn't have to retire? She said, no. Sky got to show for 4 more years. Yep, he got to go out and do shows for 4 more years, and then he officially retired, and then I saw him in all these things, right? But that's, like, the perfect example. If me and this horse, his determination to heal, let's say the fireman even, like I said in the beginning, the PTSD, I am done with this. I don't wanna do this anymore. Somehow I cross paths with these animals or these horses, right, or these people. God, their soul, whatever you wanna call it, I don't know, right? They show it to me. As long as I can find it and transmute it, it literally goes away. It's just an amazing thing. So I always wanna kind of, like, go that route with it a little bit more. Like, what are these people that, you know, they're throwing them in these psych units. Are they really schizophrenic or are they just mediums?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
What? Yeah,
It
exactly. I'm so intrigued with it all. What
it's
can I do? That's always my question. If I can do this, what
Mm.
else am I capable of? Oh, look, and it says, believe you are capable of amazing things.
Wow. And it comes full circle. It almost like makes me think that the human vessel is one of the most like advanced technologies in terms of like healing and sensing. And we've just kind of deconditioned ourselves to, like you said, put ourselves in this box that like fits in this perfect, not fitting, circle or whatever. And we just always live in that one identity or framework. And we're never really given ourselves the grace to expand the awareness and truly the potentials. Because I mean, if you go back in like history, there are so many different stories about, healers, even in, Jesus, and so many different people that have healed and like done these miracles. And are these miracles really just, like you said, a combination of faith and will combined to be able to literally just shift the energy? Like when you're saying that you removed the arthritis from Skylar, like,
I didn't remove anything. I provided the source.
Okay.
I
Yes.
provided the source. I did not do anything. I literally just put my hand on that horse's third eye. I said, this energy that I'm giving to you, you direct it to your leg. And I saw that leg pop clairvoyantly in gold light. In that moment, I knew. I'm like, this horse is healed. There's no doubt in my mind about it. None. I think it's all to go back to what you were saying, because this man in spirit, whoever's here, right? He kind of had some input. He was saying it's like everybody has become reliant upon, oh, I have migraines, therefore I need to go to the doctor, and the doctor's going to give me we become reliant upon the prescription, the
Right.
doctor, the person who knows more than we perceive ourselves as knowing. When I see migraines, it always looks like this black goo, usually. Like in somebody's head, I just look at them. I'm like, "Ugh, like you get these migraines, or you can't sleep, or something." And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's get it out.
Yeah.
Let's transmute it." It's their soul showing it to me. I
Yeah.
say in my spiel, I cannot help you with anything you are not ready to get rid of. You want to keep entertaining your crap, I'm not even going to see it. I'm not even going to know it's there. You literally are hiding it from me like, I'm good. I just want to keep going through the same repeated I just want to keep suffering.
Truly.
I believe in, because, like Jesus is my dude. Don't get me wrong. If Buddha comes in and Buddha starts giving me some sort of advice or guidance, I'm listening to Buddha. Like, what you got to say, Buddha? I ain't dissing Buddha because he's not Jesus. But
Totally.
one of Jesus's teachings is heal thyself position. And that always stuck with me. Heal
Hmm.
thyself position. He would not say it if you could not do it. I had my own thing going on in my physical body to the point, and I am not a doctor runner person. I am not, right? My limbs would literally have to be
Yeah.
falling off for me to like go to a doctor, right? Not that I have anything against doctors, don't get me wrong, right? But it's just the way I operate. So I literally had to go to the doctor for something, and the doctor said, "Oh, you need surgery." I thanked him. I said, "Oh, okay, thank you very much. I'll let you know." I left there and I went to my spirit guide. I said, "What is this really about?" You know what my spirit guide said to me? Discipline. Not go get surgery, not go, you have to go do this thing. Discipline. I said, "Show me. Show me what the discipline is. Show me what I need to do." And,
Wow.
and it was as simple, Taylor, as drink a lot of water every day, hydrate your body, and move, walk, do a thing. I only implemented those 2 things. Knock on wood, it went away. It wasn't about going and getting surgery. Surgery wasn't the answer. It was
Yeah.
about me, yet again, pulling energy back to myself and giving myself some sort of consideration, some sort of self-love, and it literally
Mm.
went away.
It's crazy you just said
Heal
that. That was
thyself physician. Okay, you said it, I can do it.
wow. That was my next like question, was going to be like the religion and spirituality and like different religions. Is there a right religion or like right teacher? And then like how do we know what's in the Bible? Is that man-made? I know what we're taught in religious context and like Catholicism, this is the word of God. Obviously, it was his disciples that wrote it. It wasn't necessarily Jesus. But is there like, what's the right teacher? Like, is there a right word to follow? it
This is how I'm kind of like perceiving the whole thing. I don't think anything is right or wrong. I don't. I believe the majority of religions pretty much say the same thing, pretty much.
yeah.
Yes, I do think there are parts in the Bible. I don't believe everything in the Bible. I do believe these are now we're dealing with channeled works as per their interpretation of what could be being said. I mean, like it says in the Bible, like, and the female shall not wear pants. What kind of pervert wrote that? Like,
Who let the guy have the pen?
what are you trying to squeeze in there, sir?
Truly. But
Right?
then now,
That
so
doesn't
how
make
do you
any sense.
decipher? Yeah, okay, so it just is not just
Yeah,
doesn't.
I always take it could be any religion. It could be I love Jesus's teachings. I absolutely love them. So I absolutely follow them. Uh, but Buddhist teachings does something for me. I've read the Gita, Krishna stuff, sitting on my nightstand, which I haven't gone into it yet. But sitting on my nightstand is the Muslim Bible because I wanted to kind of the Muslim book. I wanted to
Quran?
jump
Yeah.
into that. Just want to know. So what I personally do is Jesus is always my go-to guy. Don't get me wrong. Always my go-to guy. But here's a perfect example. My older son, his God is not Jesus. His God is Odin.
Who's
Yeah,
Odin?
Odin, Freya, these are the Viking gods.
Very fascinating.
This is who right? So he had something that had happened to him, a medical thing that he actually had to go get cut out. He had it in his ear. So when I went to go pray for him, this is interesting. When I went to go pray for him, so here I am, envisioning myself kneeling at the Lord's feet and I'm praying for my son. And I get this idea. This is interesting. I get this idea like I'm going to pull him in and have him pray with me, meaning like a fragmented piece of himself or right, his higher self, whatever you want to call it, right? Not him in the physical world. So in this vision, I pull him in and I'm talking to Jesus, right? Now, thank you so much for healing him and thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah. I kid you not, Taylor. Here's my kid, and this portal opens up above his head. So I'm like, kind of like, what is that? And I see the profile of a raven, and the raven's listening. And I realized in that moment, I was like, this is Odin's raven. I have this kid praying to the wrong god. It's not his god. Odin's raven was listening to the prayer. So now I addressed Odin's raven and I said, please bring that back to Odin and Freya. So then when it came down to everything was successful, this is interesting. I said to Jesus, I said, Lord, my son's God is Odin and Freya. I got to pull my pagan out a little bit because I got to give I'm honoring his God. His
Totally.
God made everything. He answered the prayer. I said, I got to pull my pagan out a little bit. I got to do like an offering to Odin and Freya, which I did, right? This is how Jesus responded to that. He goes, pretty much like, I don't care what you do. You're not, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you're a soul of free will. You're like, you want to make an offering to Odin and Freya, go do that thing. This is what he said. He said, as a matter of fact, he said, all that is going to come back around again. Almost like the pagan ways where we're honoring the earth and we're maybe not so necessarily
Ah.
with all the gods and the whatever, right? But we're honoring the earth and we're making these offerings, whatever. He said, all that is going to come back around again. He said, that's how they used to do it. Offerings. I offered nuts to a tree. That
Yeah.
was it. Thank you. Right? I pulled a note in Freya. Here's my gratitude. Here's some nuts. Squirrels get to eat them. Cool beans. Right? Everybody's happy. He said, that's going to come back around again. We need to get back to the basic of like kind of like our connection with Mother Earth and some higher source energy, whatever you create that to be, right? Which you are a part of, right? He said That's how they used to do it. He said, Jesus said to me, he said, God doesn't need your money. He said, that's what the Catholics and the Christians have created it to be. God doesn't need your money. I was like, I get it. So even though I'm like on this Jesus, right? He's always my go-to guy. He understands I'm a soul of free will and kind of like whatever's working for you in the moment is fine with me. Go do that thing. I'm not offended. Go talk to Odin.
Hmm.
So every day when I say my prayer for my family, I include Odin and Freya for him,
So then
right?
is there like a hierarchy then of not like gods? Like I know other religions, especially in Hinduism and such, there are so many different gods. Are they just masks, if you will, of like the higher source that we're
Yeah,
all ultimate?
they are what everything is what we created it to be. Everything is what we created it to be. If your God is a freaking unicorn, then that's your God.
Go for it.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I want to go back to another teaching of Jesus that I find so intriguing, besides heal thyself physician, is who I am, you are. What
Mm.
you see me do, you can do. You could do so much more if you but had the faith of a mustard seed. A mustard seed knows it's a mustard seed. It grows mustard. It cannot grow apples. It cannot grow oranges. And it knows that. It knows what it is. And basically, that's what he's saying. If you but had the faith of a mustard seed, if you walked up to a mountain and you told it to jump in the sea, it would. Taylor, if I walk up to a mountain, I'm like, jump, and that shit don't move, it's not that I don't believe what Jesus said. It means I'm not at a point of consciousness to nothing for nothing, understand that the mountain is a thought energy and I'm a thought energy. And, if you really get to that
Yeah.
point of understanding or, enlightenment, you literally could walk through a wall if you wanted to, because you would understand this is a thought. It's not solid, it's a thought.
Right.
I'm a thought. And if I understood that, and whatever, you literally could walk through the wall. But we're just not at that conscious level yet.
Yeah, it literally goes back to your initial formula, faith plus will. Like if your will and your intention is still not there, meaning like you still have doubts or you're still not fully computing that you can literally walk through this wall. Like it's not science fiction, it's resonance, if you will, if you want to bring it to that realm. But if you're not believing in it in any way, like it's just not going to happen. Like
It's
it
not
doesn't
going to
matter
happen.
what.
Yeah, it's not good. And so these are the things I strive for, where it's just like if Jesus said it, I can do it.
Mm.
And that's why it goes. He was like healing blind people. He was like raising the dead. What? I want to do that shit. But what in me needs to change frequencies in order to get to that point of knowing I could do
Mm.
it, right? When Jesus, and it's in like when you declare something, you declare it, or you pray for something, you declare it, right? When Jesus went to go heal the blind guy, right? The whole crowd's like, heal the blind guy, Jesus, and he's like, I, right? And he goes up to the blind guy and he puts his hand over let's just say the blind guy's eyes, right? He's not saying, yeah, Father God, it would be real cool if you kind of like showed up right now because there's a crowd here and they want me to heal the blind guy, right? He didn't say it like that. He knew who he was.
Mm.
Father, thank you that he is healed. Thank you that he can see. He knew, right? That declaration coming over. I always say Jesus was like the best physical medium ever. What gets me to I know when I transmute energy in the other realms, I know the living will witness it in the physical world in some way, shape, or form. They had paranormal activity, they had a ghost, they had a poltergeist, they had a demon. Now they don't. He had gout. The horse had arthritis. He had PTSD. Now he doesn't. So I know I have, let's just say, authority in the other realms to transmute energy that you will witness it here. But what is Jesus doing that it's just so automatic, right? It's just so like,
Mm.
man, oh, we need some wine at the wedding? No problem. Bring some water. Let me stick my finger in it. What?
Yeah.
What? I wouldn't do that shit. So if I'm not doing it right now, what in me still needs to change perception about myself? What in me doesn't believe I can do it? It's a great what else am I capable of? That's always my thing. Because I've watched this mediumship journey go like it blows my mind. It really does. I can't even tell you how many times I sit across from a client where we just went through the reading, and literally at the end of the reading, we're like staring at each other, and I'm like, "What the f was that?" And they're like, "Holy shit!" And both of us are like, "I don't know, but that was some crazy stuff." And you know what? It works. Do you feel better? Yeah, I feel better. All right, cool beans. Because sometimes we go down the trail, like I'll trail the energy. Like maybe it's going back to a past life, or maybe
Mm.
I've even had ones with like future lives where they showed me like the fair warning. Like if this soul does not find their peace with this individual in this lifetime, this is the future life. And I told her that. I said, you better find your peace because that sucks. You don't wanna, and she did. The next time I saw her, I looked and I said, "You did it." I said, "You forgave that man." She said, "I did." I said, "You altered the timeline."
Wow. So it's like goes back in real time. We are able to orchestrate everything, free will, our thoughts, our inputs, everything. And that determines truly, I guess, how much of our potential we're actually able to reach. Because if Jesus is a blueprint of this is our potential, this is where we could go
Exactly.
with our being, like clearly he was like he had a physical body. So he was very similar to us, like in the sense that we are could do the same things if we just are able to have these components and make them all kind of come together.
I don't
It's like
if you walked into my house, you could never tell of religion. Never. Never. My centerpiece on my dining room table is a crystal ball. We got the witch's I just like the
Mm,
witch's broom. It's
totally.
beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the only one I have in my house. There's crystals all over the place, but there's a beautiful picture of Jesus, right? There's crucifixes, there's Archangel Michael. The biggest piece in my house, the biggest one, is actually the 72 names of God. It's Hebrew. I have the frequency of the Hebrew coming through my house because it's powerful. You can never tell. If you walked into it, you'd be like, well, what is this chick into? I'm into whatever brings me enlightenment, whatever in that moment. It doesn't even have to be some kind of religious figure. You literally can have some small conversation with somebody online at CVS, and the one thing that falls out of this chick's mouth, you're like, oh, shit. It's all about changing your perception. Change your perception. That's our motto at the other world, mystical world, the other world. We came up with change your perception, change your life, because that is what it's all about. When you keep changing your belief system and you keep changing your perception of things, you become lighter. It's the best way I could put it.
100% agree. And I think it goes back. You just look at, other examples in history like AA and all of, Alcohol's Anonymous, all of that. It starts with the first principle of like, you have to become aware that you have an issue. Then you need to, accept that you do. And then before you can even get into the tools and practices of which, you could actually use to help yourself, it starts with this awareness and this ability to just be open-minded and allow whatever's presenting itself to shift you in whatever direction, the feeling is kind of taking you. And so many are missing, are detached from that flow, if you will. And I think
Because
I,
that's what they want you to do. They want you to be in fear. They want you to be distracted. They don't want you in the power of who you are. Because when you are in the power of who you are and you realize you are a master co creator with the universe of the experiences that you desire to have, guess what? Money's not an issue. You
game
will just
over.
create it,
Their
right?
game is over. Your game begins. Truly.
Exactly. You don't need the doctor and the prescriptions because you will heal yourself. So that just takes all their oppressive energy and puts it over there. So they try to keep the mass consciousness oppressed. Everybody get in your robotic cars, do the things we're telling you to do, right? Don't think for, look at all this AI shit.
I was literally just gonna ask
Every
you.
ounce in me says, do not play with this shit. I am not playing with it. Absolutely not. Every cell in my body says, no, 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 no. I said, look at this. What they're doing now is they're taking away people's ability to make decisions for themselves and creative energy. What do you need this thing to write this thing for? You didn't even write it. This thing wrote it. Stop. They're not your friends. We literally had one client, Deb would tell you, we literally had one client. She was using it so much. She was using it like a therapist. She says, you want to know, whatever she called it? You want to know what they told? They said that it said that I had a lot of gunk and blah, blah, blah. We're like, that is not your therapist.
Get out of there. Get out.
Why are we becoming so dependent upon this thing? You don't even know who's on the motherboard. Who's on the motherboard behind that shit? Stop it. Get back outside. Get your kids off the iPads. Get your kids off the TV, away from the video games. Get them back outside. Have them connect with the earth. Let them be in the awe of things. Like Deb said earlier, stop sitting there mindlessly scrolling on your phone. How many I caught my husband cheating on Tinder scroll reels can you watch? Right? And now what I noticed on it too was like I was watching this one little video or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's some crazy shit. And then I saw it said on it AI generated. So I was like, you don't even know if what you're watching is true or not anymore. So I'm not going to be like, wow, that's amazing, because did it really even happen? You know what? I don't got time for that crap. I'd rather be intrigued with who I am, what am I capable of doing? Of course, my family, my loved ones, my work, being able to cross paths with so many people. I just, like I said, medium, there's no boundaries here. None. None. You want me to talk to your tree outside? I'll talk to your tree, right? A tree has a consciousness. It will literally talk to me. It will tell me things. But
That's what
they want you to be just completely distracted and get in the box, do what we're telling you to do, and get in fear. Look at the bullshit. Like with like the gas prices. Here we go again. How many times is the mass consciousness not going to notice the repeated patterns
I
of what they're
know.
doing?
It
Right?
makes you laugh. It
Stop
has to make
giving
you
it
laugh.
fear. You're going to fill your car anyway. Stop looking at the gas price. Stop being in the energy of fear. There is only they had told me there is only two energies on this planet. Two. Love and fear. And everything falls underneath one of them. Love, fear, light, dark, God, devil, however you want to look at it. Which one are you feeding? Which one are you feeding? Don't tell me you trust God in 1 minute and then you're going to worry about the gas prices in the next minute. You are feeding the darkness. Literally, every time you worry about something, picture this like dark energy just jumping off. And dark doesn't mean evil. I want to, not necessarily, right? It just means void of light. So dark energy, typically when I'm reading somebody, typically comes in as anxiety, right? Fear, anger, depression. Those are the frequencies of darker energy. So every time you're sitting there and you're worrying about something, oh, you just picture this dark little thing popping out of your head, usually building up in your aura. I just had one the other day. I looked at her and I said, you worry about shit so much? I said, you have created your own, this thing has animation. It has its own life force energy. It was an animated black shadow in there. And I knew exactly what I said. You worry about shit so much. You literally created like your own monster in your aura. You created it. It didn't come from anywhere. You created it. So if instead of worrying about something, how about if we go to the light and we bless it? Oh, these gas prices are going, I don't know. I really want to get into the energy of worry, but I'm not going to. Lord, thank you so much that I have the resources to, fill my gas tank. Thank you so much that we're being, sustained throughout this whole process, whatever's going on here.
Yeah.
Bless it. Don't worry about your kid. Oh, I'm scared my kid is gonna fail, whatever. Bless the child. Lord, thank you so much that you're opening his eyes. Thank you so much that he could see, right? Because your thought energy is going there in the first place. So you're just a lot of times compiling energy on top of energy that you already know exists, which is only giving it more power. So bring it some light.
It keeps coming back to, what you were describing with the walls and everything. It starts with a thought energy. And like that is truly how powerful your thoughts are. And we don't audit our thoughts enough, in the daily life. I feel like so many people are just playing the story based on the same thing that always is happening and really not valuing how much our thoughts and the story we tell ourselves truly can create something. It's not normally, I think I laugh at the people that are manifesting and they're like, I want a boat. And then they don't get it like the next week and they're like, this shit is bullshit. It's like, wait, when did energy just like compound like that?
Because
And
I think it goes back to what Deb said. It's like, it's not just going to magically, you can't have a belief system in your subconscious mind of lack, not enough, because this is what you really truly believe, right? We have the two minds going on here. If you were brought up in a household where we don't have enough money for that, whatever money you do get, you're going to bust your ass and you're going to have to earn it and you're going to have to do a thing. Okay, that's the programming. So you can't,
Mm.
20 years later be like, "Oh, the secret, the law of attraction, cool beans. Let me, tape a check to my ceiling and every morning I wake up, I see $20,000." It's not gonna fucking work. Excuse me.
No,
Right?
no, I love
It's
it.
not gonna work because you don't even believe that you can have $20,000. So what you have to do is like what Deb said, you have to start to observe what is your reaction? A bill
Mm.
comes in, what is your reaction? "Oh, great, I don't have the money for this." Can I tell you one of the most, like, deep things? This is one of our major programs. So we have this other, it's one of our other sisters, right? Deb's my sister, right? So we have this other sister, her name is Patricia. And Patricia, so Dev's specialty is tarot, right? Mine's mediumship. Patricia is like a shaman. So she
Oh, shit.
actually reads like herbs. So we always laugh because if you hear the three of us having a conversation, Dev will say, the cards are saying, I'll say, spirit is saying, and she'll say some shit like cinnamon is telling me. All right. Kid you not. Best conversations is when me and my girls are all together, right? We should always tape these things. They are funny. But anyway, so she had called me and she's like, literally says, "Sister, you want to know what Laurel Leaf just told me?" I'm like, "What?" Right? Like, what Laurel Leaf just tell you? She said, "We are so programmed to receive and give back out, to receive and give back out." So she had called me and she said, literally said to me, "You want to know what Laurel Leaf just told me?" I said, "What did Laurel Leaf just tell you, Sonny? Like, what did it say?"
Yeah.
She said,
Come on.
"We are so programmed," she said, "to receive, to pay back out." She said, we look at a calendar and we're like, by this paycheck, I'll pay the car insurance. By this paycheck, I'll pay the phone. By this paycheck, I'll pay for the vehicle. By this paycheck, I'll pay the rent, right? So we're literally receiving to pay back out. I was like, "Oh, shit." She was like, "Yeah." She goes, "So we got to work on that." I said, "All right, I got it." I said, because if you notice with that, most people will agree with us. When you feel like you have some extra money, like let's just say you're like, "Oh, cool, I have an extra $500 this month." Something's going to happen that you have to pay it back out, right? The tire's gonna go on the car. It doesn't have to be a bad thing either, right? You got the extra 500, like, oh, the minute that you feel comfortable because you have that extra money, "Oh, I got that extra $500." You go get
Boom.
the mail, and now you're invited to the baby shower, or now you're invited to the wedding, and they want you to be the maid of honor. There it goes. There goes your 500, right?
Totally.
Okay. So you can witness it, and I know a lot of people understand what I'm talking about. I know it because they'll be like, "Oh, shit. Alright, alright, alright. Let's switch up that programming." She's like, "Yeah." I said, "All right, this is gonna be our mantra." Right? So we usually will start off with a mantra. "Thank you so much. I receive abundance effortlessly simply to receive it. Simply to receive it. So we're throwing in the abundance word, we're throwing in the effortlessly word to get away from the idea concept that what you do get, you got to bust your ass and earn. I receive abundance effortlessly, simply to receive it. Thank you so much, right? So we start saying this thing, right? Kid you not. Like a few days later, I'm doing this reading for this woman. I don't know why, but just out of nowhere at the end of the reading, she says to me, you know, Patricia, if I won the lottery, she's like, I would pay off all my bills and I would give to this charity, that charity, that charity. You know what I said to myself, Taylor? I'm like, holy shit, we can't even win the fucking lottery without dictating how we're going to pay it back out.
Holy crap. You're completely right. Every single time to that effect, spot on.
What is it about us that says if I win the lottery, like I feel bad about that. So
Yeah.
now I have to make sure I disperse it. If you won the lottery, of course you're going to be generous, but you don't have to feel bad about winning the lottery, and you don't have to feel bad about being abundant. You don't have to. So it's interesting. So that was back in, I think it was in April 2020. So we're all quarantined, right? We're kind of doing a thing, right? And so I started saying this mantra, right? Just like that, randomly. Just randomly. Thank you so much. I receive abundance effortlessly, simply to receive it. Thank you so much. I receive abundance effortlessly, simply to receive it. And I would say it not every day, just when it kind of popped into my head, especially if like I had to pay a bill or something like that. I'm not going to get that energy. I'm fine. Like what Deb said, I'm fine today. Like I could pay this bill. I'm not going to worry about it. But so I did a lot of the unprogramming of the programming. I think it was by September 2021. So here we are, April 2020. I start saying this mantra. By September 2021, I kid you not, I manifested like about $14,000 just from 3 different sources effortlessly. And then I was like, yeah, shit's working. Like, yeah, look at this. Like, oh my girl, like, guess what just happened? Like,
Yeah,
this
the
shit's working.
experiment
But look at, it took me like a year and a half
of
of
deprogramming.
changing the belief system in order to make it happen. So nothing for nothing, ever since I saw that happen, it was interesting. It's like ever since I saw that happen, then it was almost like I had to go in another like round because everything goes in these circular patterns. Everything does. So it's almost like I had to go another round. And I got down to, and this was just last year, it's when we were taking over Mystical World. I got down to my last $3,600 from that 14 grand because my kids got married and we had things, right? So we were giving out, right, throughout the years. I got down to my last $3,600 from that. And I had to give it to the landlord of where we are now in the studio. And I know that God told me to take over Mystical World. There was no doubt about that. I felt that energy come down upon me twice. Like, you do this thing, right? Okay. So we're at this point, and finally, so when I took the envelope of the last $3,600, I declared over the top of it, I said, Lord, I am following your lead. You told me to do this. I am handing this money over in faith, not in fear. And I handed the money over. I didn't say it in front of the guy, you know, that kind of weird shit with that be like, for your new landlord. Like, what?
All out. You're like,
Who did I just rent to? Like, actually, he's into all this. He actually knows. He actually digs it.
okay, we love that.
Anyway.
More landlords need to be like that.
Mr. Abbott, we love you, Mr. Abbott. But turn on the air conditioning, please. It's so hot in there yesterday. Anyway, someday I'll see you. I'll be like, Mr. Abbott, I gave you a shout out on a podcast. You'd be like, how does this not surprise me? But that was my declaration over that. That was what, April? It was a year ago, April 2025. I handed it over. And I literally declared it. I am handing this over in faith, not in fear. Thank you so much for bringing it back to me. You see where I'm at now? I don't have a stash anymore. No more stash. I just gave it all up. Here it is. Shit you not. By October, another roundabout of effortless abundance. Another roundabout of it. Out of nowhere. Unexpected. There it is. So I know I'm going to say these circles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller until they like reach a point. And it's so weird because I keep having these like very vivid dreams, and they're always about like way back when people used to always say to me like, "Oh, you should own an enlightenment center." You know how I used to respond to them, Taylor? I'm building an empire. Look at my declaration. Oh, you should own an enlightenment center. I'm like, I'm building an empire. Is there an enlightenment center in there? Sure. But there's lots of other things going on in there, right? Lots of other things. I got to save puppies. I got to do all kinds of stuff, right? We got to do something for vets. We got to do everything. Look at now. What happened last year? Now me and Dev own an enlightenment center. So look at the foundational energy we're building for the empire. And not even that long ago, like 2 weeks ago, pretty much back-to-back dreams. It was like one night and then not the next night, but the next night, back-to-back dreams. Both of these dreams was like our studio was there, but there was an expansion and we were having some kind of like event, right? Like wellness event, something like that. And I peeked into a door and I had a food pantry. And yeah. And I said, and I could feel it like 2 or 3 times in both of these dreams that I was so proud to be able to afford. I know that source came from me. I know it did. I was so proud to be able to afford. Here's a food pantry for people. Like, what? Don't suffer, right? What's my thing? Don't suffer. Here, I have enough money to afford to put together. I wasn't asking for donations. Literally, I'm paying for food shopping for a food pantry, and I'm so proud of this. And a few times in those dreams, so look what's happening, right? So these are very vivid vision dreams, whatever you want to call them. Look what's happening. And it all goes back to, I'm going to say, when my girl called me and told me what Laura Leaf said.
Laura Leaf. Thank you, Herb.
Right? She changed my perception. How unconscious are we to that programming? But
Yeah.
you can answer. I'm telling you, people that are watching this, whatever, literally, I would say if 10 people are watching, 9 will say, yeah, that always happens to me because you are programmed for it. That's the alignment of the frequency, of the energy, of the belief system that you are broadcasting out to the universe. So the universe just keeps bringing you back that mirror experience over and over and over again until you change the mirror, right? You got to change here to change the mirror.
It's like the universe is proving that it's working because it keeps showing you exactly what your programming or your thought track or your habit or whatever is coming in and you're thinking about is literally revealing itself in the output. And if you're not happy with that output, what you're saying is you just need to A, be aware of it, and then B, be able to change that programming and don't wait for it the next day.
Exactly. What in me, you know what was interesting? Here's another cool one. Here's another cool one. Years ago, I started observing. I'm like, why do I always attract my people who just like, why do I always attract to myself people who lie? Like, what is the mirror image of that? Because I'm like one of the most honest people on the planet. I can't even I have a hard time lying to you about the surprise party. Like, I got to bring you to the thing, but we're really throwing you a surprise party. And I got to tell you this little white lie. Like, that bothers me. So I'm like, why am I keep attracting to myself people that just lie? Like, what is the mirror image? I don't get it. Por qué? I'm not seeing the mirror. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not seeing where this is aligning with me. You know what my spirit guide said? He said, "What are you lying to yourself about?" I was like, "Oh shit. Oh shit. What am I lying to myself about?" So then that became a whole journey. And that literally started getting down to pretty much self-worth. Who am I? Right? Giving myself value. A huge soul lesson, which a lot of people go through, which only happened to me a few years ago. So you see how it's this? You've known me for a while now. So this thing only hit me maybe 4 years ago. Let's just say.
Wow.
Right? You know how a lot of times we attract to ourselves inconsiderate people? Like, it just seems like everybody's inconsiderate. What's going on here? I'm a considerate person. I don't understand. What is the mirror? What's going on here? The aha moment went like this. It was somebody, they had messaged me. What are you even messaging me for? Stop it. Go away. Right? What are you even messaging me for? But there's that side of me that's like, oh, but they messaged me, so I have to answer them. Even though I have no desire to talk to you whatsoever. But I have to answer them. Or they might get upset or hurt. that I didn't answer them. This was the aha moment. Patricia, why are you being so overly considerate of that person's feelings when not once have they taken yours into consideration? Once I had that aha moment, people will tell you that literally, I dare you not to take me into I'll let people go, but if you show me a consistent behavior of not taking me into consideration whatsoever, I don't consider you at all. And I don't care who you are. I do not care who you are. I will remove every label off of it. You have shown me inconsideration constantly over and over and over again. You don't even exist in my world anymore. Namaste. Have a nice life. Move on. I got an empire to build. I got souls to enlighten. I don't got time to be distracted with your inconsideration. So it's interesting because then what I'm doing in that moment is now I'm starting to consider myself. Mine was twofold. It was feelings, and the other one was this. Patricia, why are you being so overly considerate of that person's financial situation when not once have they taken yours into consideration? Not the ATM machine anymore. No. So now I don't. If you don't take me into consideration, I'm really not going to take you into consideration whatsoever. It's not happening.
Yeah,
Right? But
it
then what
all
happens? Look what happens, Taylor. Now, yet again, I'm pulling the energy all back to myself. So now my frequency starts to say, consider me because I do, appreciate me because I do, love me because I do, commit to me because I do. You see what I'm saying? Then you're
totally.
gonna start attracting to yourself. So, to go back to what we were talking about, when people get like, well, like, see, I did the check and it's a week later and I didn't get the boat. You gotta dig deep in. You have to look at yourself. It's not like just tapping your Harry Potter wand, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, boats. If
Yeah.
you really
Appear.
believe you could have a boat and nothing for nothing, you don't start to put boundaries around. I just had this yesterday with the guy with the entrepreneur energy. Literally said to me, he goes, oh, but with the entrepreneur energy, I need the resources. So I got to get the bullshit job in order to get the resources. And I said, what? I'm like, why? I said, why are you dictating how the universe could bring that to you? I said, that's you
Mm.
trying to control the situation because that's your belief system. He goes, oh, so then I have to win the lottery. I said, yet again, you're putting a boundary around how the universe could bring that to you. I said, nothing for nothing. You can have a conversation with an old man randomly 2 weeks from now, and you happen to bring up this idea, and he happens to say, well, actually, I own that business and I'm looking to retire, but I haven't found anybody that I would trust to, hand it over to. You don't know. So stop putting boundaries around how the universe is going to bring it to you. When I get to a point
Mm.
where I desire some experience, let's just say, I call it to me. And I literally will start to practice nothing for nothing. It's not just about these mantras. The spoken word has a lot of power. Don't get me wrong. It does. But I will also use the energy of the law of resonance. I will silence my mind. Now I'm not even thinking of it. Let's say I wanted to bring
Mm.
myself, I was just doing it today in the nail salon because I find I don't care what I don't know why guys think like, oh, go get your nails done. It's boring.
It's
It's,
so boring. I hate it.
it's
Like cooking.
boring.
I'm like, what else can I do here? Like,
So I sat there and it's always my opportunity, right? Because you can't do anything. So, right? It's always my opportunity. This is when I practice the law of resonance while the chick is doing my nails. Out of nowhere, I had this feeling of having a very free day. Don't know how to explain it. Felt like beachy environment and maybe even Florida. It was just this weird energy that came to me. Didn't have a vision with it, nothing like that. I know where I was. I know what I was doing. So when that energy came, I silenced my mind and I just felt it. I just felt it.
mm,
And then I started seeing little visions, like buying something at some little stand, something like that. Then that's what made me think it was really Florida. It felt like Florida. It felt like this beachy environment. It felt very free-willed. So I went with it. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna hold this resonating energy, but I'll do it until I walk into that timeline, let's just say. Okay, but I'll do it intentionally. So let's just say the word abundance. Let's just say effortless abundance.
Mhm.
Silent mind, pretty good at silent mind at this point in the game. If I can't do silent mind, thoughts keep trying to come in. What I'll do is I'll picture gold light in my head. So now it gives my brain something to do.
Mm.
Like, okay, she's picturing gold light. But I send all the awareness to the heart chakra and I feel what it would feel like to be completely wealthy. What does that feel like? I think my favorite word with that is actually freedom. What would it feel like to have just complete
Yeah.
freedom? You do whatever you want to do on whatever one day. I'm already at a point in the game. I know it was a realization I had years ago. I'm like, I am never going to retire. As long as I can help another soul on this planet, I will never retire ever. So that's okay. I'm not looking for retirement, but maybe I'm looking for some free time here and there. Because it's very overwhelming work, and you do need a little regroup going on. Freedom,
Well, yeah.
right? Gratitude. Gratitude. I would like to experience more experiences of humbled gratitude, where you just
Mm.
know that the universe just sent this to you, or the Lord gave it to you, or however you want to perceive it, however you want to create that to be. So maybe I used just the word gratitude. Now, most people are going into a prayer and they're like, thank you for my family and my job, right? Which is nice. Don't get me
Good
wrong.
start.
Well, why does the gratitude have to be for anything? How about we just emit gratitude?
Yeah,
Just emit gratitude.
and then you're just acting as, like, a tuning fork, like that just like the resonating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I pick
that's how
like
I
different words: gratitude, peace, joy, abundance. One of
mm.
my favorite ones, and you might dig this. One of my favorite ones is just the word home, not meaning a
Oh,
place, not meaning where I
cool.
am. Did you ever, for me personally, for whatever reason in the fall, at some point, it's not all fall long or anything like that, I get hit with this home feeling. Can't describe it. It's very comfy. Some people
Yeah,
get it like when they at Christmas time. I don't know if it's a nostalgic feeling. It's nothing in particular. It's just this real comfy home feeling, right? You've
yeah,
had it?
totally, 100%.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
not to do with a physical location.
Not at all. Not at all. So what I do is who doesn't want to walk around feeling that and experiencing that? So sometimes I'll write the word home because it's the only word I
Mm.
can use for it, right? I write the word home in my heart chakra and I feel it. And once I get to that frequency of feeling it, I hold it as long as I can.
Mm.
And I know me emitting these frequencies out there, I will attract to myself the experiences of them. It's
I love that.
intentionally co-creating with it's like you're co-authoring. You're not even co-creating. It's like you're co-authoring the experiences that you desire to experience here. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot of work to reprogram programs, look at and it's not an easy journey. You're gonna cry. You're gonna get angry. You're gonna say, "What the
What the
hell? Why do I keep attracting to myself this shit?" Perfect
Yes.
question. Why do you keep attracting to yourself this shit? What do you need to learn about yourself that you keep having this alignment of energy with the bullshit? What is it?
Mm.
Oh, is it because you engage with it? Is it your norm? Is that what happened in your childhood and that was the norm in your house? What is it? That's what you need to change. You got to stop. We're all at a point in the game where we can see where energy's coming at us. We can just feel it. Like if somebody's an asshole, let's just say, and they always like
Like,
make a certain noise before they're about to become an asshole, right? They're always like,
yeah, you know it's coming. You're like, "Oh gosh."
exactly. Exactly. So you already know the energy's coming at you. Do not react to it. Reacting to the energy always puts you back in the repeated pattern of it. Always. It's
Mm.
when you observe, you're like, there it is. He's going to act like an asshole. I got it. Right. And this is all going on in your head while he's like, whatever, right? Now you're going to learn how to respond or not respond to it, but definitely don't engage with it
Yeah.
because whatever energy you engage with, you become.
Mm.
I'm going to say that again. Whatever energy you engage with, you become. I do not
Oh,
watch the news. I have no
yeah.
idea what's going on in the world. Absolutely not. Because I function on a level that if I need to know something, God will make sure I know. It's just that simple for me. If I need to be concerned about something, God, the universe, whatever, will make sure I know. And
You're
then
gonna
I'll
get the
go,
message.
I'm gonna get it happened with COVID. I had no idea about the coronavirus. None, because I don't watch the news at all. And some lady comes in. It's like February, I guess. And some lady comes in, client comes in, and at the end of the reading, she's like, "So, what do you think about this whole coronavirus?" I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." She's like, "What?" She said, "The whole country of Italy is quarantined right now. It's shut down." I'm like, "Oh, really? Weird. Okay. I have no idea what this is about." I said I had no idea. I really don't know. And she was like, "So here we go, mental note, right?" So now I had no idea. None. I had mental note. So maybe click on a few things. I'm like, all right, we got some kind of corona, some kind of virus that's attacking people. Okay. And I went to the Lord and I was like, oh, because then, like, I don't know, like 2 days later, I run into the supermarket just to pick up like 2 cans of dog food. It's like 8:30 in the morning. There are no carts. The lot is full. The lines are ridiculous. And some guy even says to me as I'm walking, he's like, "I hope you're not looking for a cart because there isn't anymore." What kind of dick are you?
Yeah, I'm like, "Thanks, dude." Like,
I'm like, I'm just going to get 2 cans of dog food. That's all I'm getting. And I'm in there and I'm seeing all these people. Like, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what? I literally just went in, bought my 2 cans of dog food and kind of went home. So when I went home, of course, I'm going to Jesus. I said, Lord, holy
what is
shit.
going
I was like, what is this bullshit about? You know what the Lord said to me? He said, this is a trigger for the mass consciousness, for the energy of fear, lack, and uncertainty. I said, well, I
on?
saw y'all triggering that off at that supermarket because they're all in fear, they're all in lack, and they're all in uncertainty. I was like, I see that. I'm like, what do I need to do here? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what do I need to do here? Because I've worked on some of these things, fear, lack, and uncertainty. So, okay. And he basically gave me my instructions of what he wanted me to do, which was really just filter light and stuff to
Um,
the planet and raise the consciousness and do the thing. Right? I got that. All right, I could do that. Cool beans. So then I said to him, I go, well, people are stocking up on shit. I'm like, do I need to stock up on everything? Taylor, I heard every scripture in my head about God providing. If God provides for the flowers in the fields and the birds in the sky, and I was like, all right, I get it. Don't stock up on shit. I got it. I did not stock up on anything. Nothing. I followed God's lead. I was like, all right, you told me not to stock up on shit. I'm not stocking up on shit, right? I always had what I needed when I needed it. When I got down to my last roll of toilet paper, now we're in the toilet paper shortage, right? Everybody's like, got thing. I got down to my last roll of toilet paper. I literally held it up. I was like, y'all see, it's my last roll of toilet paper. I know I
this
don't
is it.
need toilet paper, but I like it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing to me, right? Toilet
Uh,
paper. Cool beans, right? So I just say it, right? There's my prayer. Thank you so much for bringing to me toilet paper. Amen. Last roll out. Like a day later, I'm driving wherever. I'm passing by this random 7-Eleven and Spirit goes, go in that 7-Eleven. I'm like, why? They say, because they have toilet paper. No effing way. So I gotta go see now, like, what
yeah.
the hell, right? There's the trusting your intuition, right? There it is, right? I pull into this 7-Eleven. Interestingly, now this is where it gets even more interesting. They had 5 rolls of toilet paper. single rolls, right? 5 rolls of them. And of course, our first instinct is, let me grab all 5. But then something said, no. So I said to myself, if everything was normal and I was just stopping in 7-Eleven to pick up toilet paper because it happened to be a convenience store, like how many rolls realistically would I have got? I was like, 2, probably 2. So I took the 2 rolls of toilet paper and then I said, how do I know that God is not sending another person of faith to buy the other 3 of toilet? So don't buy them in lack, fear,
Mm.
uncertainty. What would you have realistically done? I just bought the 2 rolls of toilet paper, right? Left, whatever. I never went without anything. Nothing. Whatever I needed would magically show up somehow. So that's all walking in your faith. That's the alignment of the energy. That's me paying attention to my intuition and working on reprogramming programs. Perfect opportunity to do it, right? Perfect opportunity to do it.
I love that. It's so beautiful, like, when you're able to be aware of all the, moments that the universe, spirit, God, the Lord, whatever, your word is for the unexplainable, if you will, to just, like, put stuff in front of you when you're truly in flow, in abundance, in the light, in the gratitude, in the love, and, like, truly believing that, you'll always be taken care of as long as your intent is there and you're just always trying to do what's best, in the moment for your higher self and the moment in the moment. Um,
It's the most important thing you could do. You get sit here. Don't get me wrong. Like I know I'm in service to other souls. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But the greatest service that I could serve is to myself and not in a selfish, egotistical way. It's nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with breaking out of the old cycles, right? Archangel Michael, it was the end of this is interesting. It was the end of May 2021. 2021. So we're like, what, 5 years into this. So Archangel Michael shows up in my kitchen, right? Just all of a sudden there's an angel in your kitchen, right? Now people always say like, "Oh, that's so cool." I'm like, "No, you don't get it." I'm like, if an archangel is just showing up out of nowhere, I promise you some bullshit's about to fall out their mouth. It's never like, "We're so proud of you,"
it'll
or
just
whatever.
pop in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like the fair warning, let's just say. So Archangel Michael, anyway, he shows up and I'm like, "Yo, Michael, like, what's up?" And he says, just this is all he said. Whatever a soul has been avoiding, they can no longer avoid. He said, it's time for these karmic cycles to come to an end. And that was it. He just disappeared. I knew in that moment, I was like, my clientele is going to start wigging out. Got it. And to be very consciously aware of my own soul lessons and navigate them wisely.
Mm.
And that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years, pretty much. What is presenting itself to me? How is it making me feel? Because nothing can spark anything up on you emotionally if you don't have a frequency to it. You would be indifferent. If
Yeah.
somebody says something to you, old you might get offended. New you's like, whatever. I believe whatever you believe. All right, cool beans. Wait, why are you still over here even talking to me? Go.
Yeah, whereas before it would have totally that's a really good point, like, what again, it goes back to the mirror thing,
Exactly. And it goes into like what you were saying, like all the energetic alignments. Everything is some sort of energetic alignment. Everything has a consciousness, everything has a frequency about it. If whatever you choose, you desire to experience, you literally have to become that frequency, whether it's in your belief system or I love the law of resonating. I really do. I love feeling it, man. I'll feel it. I'll feel it. I'll feel it because I know it's going to happen. But I'm not going to dictate the hows, the whens, the wheres, or the alignment, or right. I'm not going to boundary how the universe is going to
Mm.
bring me the frequency of home. I'm not.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
going to dictate that. I'm just gonna allow knowing, at whatever point in the game, once I'm in alignment with that, I will experience it. And that's your faith. And that's your trust. Whenever, what I try to tell people, because people get really bummed out, like, the relationship broke up. Well, you were
Good.
probably at a point of enabling each other anyway, and you weren't happy anyway, right? So whenever, oh, this is one of the best ones. Literally, I said this to a client. She's like, it comes up in a reading. She's like, I just got fired from my job, and the spirit says to me, she didn't like it anyway. I'm like, wait a minute, let me get this right. You just got fired from your job, but spirit's telling me you pretty much walked in there every day saying you hate this job. And she was like, well, yeah, I did. I said, then what are you so sad about? What are
The
you so
universe,
sad about?
you just got a favor. You literally just got a
Exactly.
favor.
Exactly. So I always tell people it is really just as simple. Please don't complicate it. When a person, place, or thing goes away, it is really just as simple. You are no longer energetically compatible with it.
Mm.
Give them the namaste, move on, right? Let me just keep moving forward. A lot of times soul contracts are done. They're just done,
And that's it.
right? And if you're at a point of enabling each other now, depending on what each one's blueprint is, I'm telling you, if you don't move, the universe will force the move in some way, shape, or form.
Truly. And I look back at my life, and the less that I've tried to stick myself in a box, the more grace I've been given and things I've been given, but also in the most unexpected ways, like a conversation, like
Exactly.
the parking spot. The more I kept fitting myself into the box, the less I was getting. The more I just let it be, the more what others would consider like a coincidence or like a miracle occurred. And I'm like, there's just no way. We shifted that energetic alignment to allow the universe to bring that into my awareness level and then receive it and then, go from there. But yeah, it's wild when you
You
say
just
that.
said the perfect word. You just said the perfect word, because this is what just popped into my head. When I really, really, really realized at whatever point in the game, right, that I was surrendered over to God's work, like I knew I had a mission on this planet to help other souls become enlightened in whatever way, shape, or form, right? I understood that. I look at every single person that I cross paths with. They can say to me, like, oh, Diane's cousin Barbara recommended you. Right? They could say that. But for me, whoever's sitting across from me, God sent you to me. Like, you could say it was Barbara, but to me, God sent you to me, right? Okay. So when I got to that point, here I go with a conversation with Jesus again, right? And I'm like, oh Lord, I really get it. Like, I'm really kind of like surrendered over to this work. I was like, what do I need to do? And I hear this voice, right? Always in the top of my head. I know when God or they, I don't know why I call it they sometimes, but whatever, right? I know who's talking to me. This is what they say. Do you know what we expect of you? They didn't even use the word expect. It's kind of like the energy, like, do you want to know what requirement there is? Okay. They said it's really just this simple. Be where you are and know that's where I have sent you. So I was talking to Jesus, right? Be where you are and know that's where
Mm.
I have sent you. If you find yourself in traffic, be in traffic. If you find yourself in CVS, be in CVS.
Hmm.
That was one. Be where you are and know that's where I've sent you.
Wow.
Two, teach what you can. Teach what you can. If you know how to make the best brownies on the planet, teach somebody, right? Teach what you can. Three, learn what you will. That's the more difficult one. Learn what you will. That's what we've been talking about, pretty much having the courage to look at oneself, see where the energy's off a little bit, and change it. Learn what you will. Four, be the highest reflection of me you could possibly be in any given situation. Okay, so let's just call it the consciousness of the Christ, right? Consciousness of Christ, peace, joy, right? Gratitude, right? All this sort of stuff, right? Creative energy, cool beans. In any given situation means it's okay. It's okay to go ape shit on somebody. Just because you were like walking around like, spiritual does not mean you always have to talk like there's some angel flying out of your mouth.
Yes.
Like
Yes. I think that
you're
I
really
want a
like
t-shirt of that.
yeah, like you're really making me very uncomfortable right now with your words. I am an Irish girl from Hudson County.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm about to throat punch you,
Get out of
right?
here. Yeah, dead ass.
Exactly. Pata, right? Okay. Be where you are, teach what you can, learn what you will, and be the highest reflection of Christ you could possibly be in any given situation. He said, if you but just follow these four rules, he said, I will take care of everything else. He said, your life will simply unfold before you. He said, if you notice, not once did I say the word do. There is nothing
Mm.
for you to do except simply be. So you use the right word. And that takes practice because we always say, oh, I should be experiencing that right now, or I should be there, or I should be making more money, or I should have a better relationship, or no, simply be where you are. Be where
Ugh.
you are. Simply be. Can you be present? Can you be in the moment? Remember when I told you about the past lives and they said, your soul is enormous, right? They said
Yeah.
everything happens in the moment of now. They said each moment of now is a snapshot image. They said just like a film. You know how a film is a bunch of snapshot images that, is moving so quickly that it looks all fluid, right? Okay. If you took this entire film and you laid it out on the table, right? Each one of those snapshot images exists in the moment of now. It's the only moment you have is the
Mm.
moment of now. Who are you choosing to be? You're coming in here as a character in the big Seinfeld episode, right?
Yeah.
It's like one big Seinfeld episode. It is. It is. Think of
Truly.
all the
Like,
characters. You
for
got your
real.
neighbor, that's a character. You got your coworkers, they're a character. Your boss, character, right? All these
Wow.
characters kind of going on. Who do you choose to be? What character do you choose to be? Right? In this big Seinfeld episode. What character do you choose to be? And you get to co-create that
Mm.
character and you get to co-author that character because every time the script comes to your name, it's blank.
Uh,
Who do you choose to be?
I love that. I I
It
don't I
literally is simply be. It can't 4 rules. That's all the Lord is asking us to follow, 4 freaking rules,
That's it.
right?
And then you'll have everything you want in your life, truly. Like, for real.
I when
Not
I get into the when I get into that surrender, and I do, and it is often, don't get me wrong, I get down my uncertainty rabbit holes, and then I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I do, right? When I just pull all the energy back and I'm just like, "Okay, right? This is my day. Who am I choosing to be right now? What am I doing? Whatever, right? Who am I choosing to be?" Right? When I get into those full surrenders, it's crazy. It's almost like I just expect stuff to just wonderful things to just happen or weird encounters or, just things that make you feel like, "Oh, okay, right? There is a bigger picture here. Something is listening to me, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It is whatever you're creating it to be."
Yeah. I have no words there. I 1,000,000% agree. I think that's, one of the most beautiful things that we could experience as being in that, like, ultimate surrender to faith in the Lord and then allowing the path to unfold as long as we're living in, those 4 rules. I wouldn't even call them rules, boundaries, they're, like, really simple, not easy, because you have to work on them every day, and I think, that's also a misconception in this world. It's like, "Oh, I wanna achieve this destination." It's no, you'll always be on that journey, but you're going to evolve in different phases, if you will, of, just like you said,
Exactly.
you were awakened 20 plus years ago, but you're just like you said, scratching the surface, and you've been practicing, this
For a
thinking
very
and
long
this.
time and consciously aware. But I'm telling you, when I really, really, really feel like the energy is moving quicker now. I
Hmm,
really feel like I noticed in March was pretty funky. So I really actually, honestly, besides doing this, I've been really paying attention to the alignment of the planets.
that was gonna be my last question, was, like, the astrology play
Look at
and looking. Yeah.
it's
You've
happening,
literally
Taylor.
queued
It's
up
happening. I'm
every one of my,
channeling
like.
you.
I know, every one of my next questions is like you're touching on the topic. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I
And then
absolutely love astrology. I don't understand all the words. I'm actually kind of like, I'm gonna say just starting to really dive into it. And it all started with, like, I was always paying attention to the moons. Don't get me wrong. Is it new moon? Is it full moon? What's
yeah.
going on here? Right? Why is everybody all funky? Oh, full
Yeah.
moon tomorrow night. Got it.
Got
Right?
it. Yeah.
I see what's happening. But I really started getting into it. It really has only been since the end of February when I heard about it was like 6 planets that lined up directly. They
Yeah,
called it like
okay.
the planetary parade or something. And they were like, this is not going to happen again for another 40 years. And I was like, hmm, what is this now? Right? I completely
Mhm.
believe in astrology. I do. I do think the planets are influential. I do think your astrological sign is influential. I also think, though, that you absolutely should know not only your rising sign, but your sun sign, your moon sign, and your Venus sign. I do think you should know that because a lot of times, like, I am obviously a fire sign. I'm an Aries. That's an
Shocker.
obvious thing. However, so that's my rising sign, right? And my sun sign. However, my moon is in Pisces. So my
Mm.
moon was in Pisces, and I can't tell you how many, and I think it's the Pisces energy that
Hmm.
gives me all the intuition. I think that's what I bank into with the intuition, and I can't even tell you how many times if I'm listening to, something that has to do with, signs or, what they can expect or whatever, I will usually listen to Aries and Pisces because these are like, yeah, they just seem
It's
like really, really
like vibey with you.
interchangeable to me. I like
Mhm.
it's almost like whenever I listen to it, I'm experiencing both things. I'm like, "All right, I kinda understand what that is, and I understand what that is." So I've been playing the game, I'm gonna tell you, for the last month. I will listen almost on a daily basis, like, what planet is where, and what do I need to be aware of? What energy can I bank into? It was somewhere remember when we had that last snowstorm, it was, like, in the beginning of March, right?
Yeah.
So Venus, it was that Saturday or that Sunday, right? Venus was, joining up with some other planet, and I was like, "Oh, Venus." And it was supposed to make, like, some strong connection in whatever was going on there. I'm like, "Imma bank in on this." I think it was Saturn. So we had, like, Saturn and Venus, right? Or Jupiter and Venus, something. I remember it was Venus. So when I took the dog outside, I literally sat outside. I know if I speak to the universe, whoever I'm speaking to hears me, right? So I'm speaking to, let's just say, Saturn and Venus, right? And I'm like, whatever it was I said, thank you so much. I'm receiving, your strength and whatever, whatever the thing was. I feel the energy of Saturn come and be like, yeah, got you. And I feel the energy of Venus come in and I see clairvoyantly the word emotional imbalance. I was like, oh, what the hell? Right? So Venus is pretty much like, yeah, I wanna bring it to you, but you're still a little effed up, so we need to
Not
switch this
really.
up a little bit here. So I took it, I was like, "Ah, Venus, thanks for being honest with me."
Yeah.
I said, "Show me. Show me where that emotional imbalance is." Oh my god, like, 2 hours later, I find myself watching a movie and all I'm doing is crying in this entire movie. You know what it ended up doing? What Venus actually taught me in the moment? Shit you not. The word compassion. I understood this is what she was trying to teach me. Compassion. We like to think we're compassionate people, right? A lot of us are. However, how many times is our compassion really being manipulated by other people? And when are we truly compassionate and taking an action towards it? Which compassion is manipulation and which compassion is pure and authentic?
Mm.
And that's what she wanted to show me, because then I see you not, like a week later, I get this text message from this person who I'm not talking to. It goes into the consideration thing. You didn't show me any consideration. I'm not showing you any consideration. Go away. Go away. Right? Okay. So I see this text message come in and it's all passive aggressive. It's being accountable and apologizing, but it's really this passive aggressive type energy. Like, let me put it to you this. They wanted me to feel bad for them because they fucked up. What? And I could tell in that moment, like, it was like they were teaching me. They were like, well, they're trying to get into your heart of compassion to make you
Mm.
respond to them. That's the manipulation. When I watched the movie, that was pure compassion. So what action am I taking? I see you're trying to manipulate my compassion, right? Making me feel bad for you. You fucked up. Go away. You made a choice. Go away,
Yeah.
right? Go sit in your choice. What are you coming over here for? But here's the manipulation. Trying to get into my heart.
Mm.
I could feel it. I literally could physically feel it. Like everything in me wanted me to go, it's okay.
Don't
No, it's
worry.
not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Wow.
So I ignored it. I absolutely ignored it. I'm not even responding to you. It's not happening. And then they showed me how, when I was watching the movie, which was The Sound of Freedom. Did you ever see that? Oh my God.
Wait, yes. Yes.
The
Yes.
entire movie. I am
Yeah.
for these children, and I
Yeah.
am for this man, and I am literally crying through this entire movie, right? Which
Yeah.
then it just happens to be coinciding with all the Epstein files, which I'm like, "Gah, okay, right? So then I'm crying, and they're showing me this is true compassion. That's true compassion. They are not trying to
Wow.
manipulate you. You feel what these children are feeling. You're feeling what this man is feeling in the position that he's in. He's a warrior. He's not stopping. He's getting that girl. That girl is going home. So much so that I actually went and I Googled this guy's name or whatever, and he has a foundation to save children. So
Wow.
now I'm gonna give to you, right? I'll respond to you because this is where my true compassion is. And I will make a monthly donation towards your mission, but I'm not answering you, and you don't get an ounce of my energy. So you see how Venus, she didn't tell me what it was. She pretty much said, yeah, I want to give you this thing, but you have an emotional imbalance going on. And all I said was, show me. Show me what the emotional imbalance is. And that's where you have to become the observer. She didn't tell me directly. Nobody told me directly. And that's where you have to become the observer and say, what are they trying to teach me? It's when I was reading the text message, because I had already watched the movie, and it's when I was reading, which might have been like 2 days later, it's when I was reading the text message that I could feel that energy in my heart chakra. And that's when I just knew that I knew. I'm like, it's compassion. Venus was trying to teach me the difference between
Mm.
manipulated compassion and true authentic compassion.
That's what I was gonna say,
Crazy shit.
like the synthetic, but it goes back to the feeling, like, if you weren't in tune, you wouldn't or, in that practice, you wouldn't have been able to decipher it because it appears on the surface level the same, but when you
How
truly
sucked into anybody else would have engaged in that text message. The majority of people would have engaged in that text message.
100%.
I'm not engaging with you because I know whatever energy I engage with, I become. You are obviously selfish, inconsiderate, and passive aggressive.
Goodbye.
Take that
Namaste.
energy and stay over there because this does not define me.
Yeah.
I have no, and it's interesting because the label given to this person in this lifetime, other people would be like, but, that's family. I don't give a shit.
No.
Show me the inconsideration. I don't care. I'll remove that label right off of you. Do not care. I am here on a soul journey to bring love and peace to this planet. If you're trying to get me out of my light, you could go. You could show me. That person showed me where I was
But
not in my light. So I thank you for that, but I'm still not responding.
yeah, you don't have to play the game.
I am playing my own universe game. I am not playing the 3D game whatsoever. I will not get into the energy of fear. I literally, it's another scripture. Here's another weird thing. A scripture that's hanging in my kitchen, right? It's Proverbs, and it says, she is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs at fear of the future.
Mm.
She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs at fear of the future. And I have that hanging in my kitchen, right? Just this constant reminder. Do you know, for my birthday, one of my clients, just out of nowhere, says, oh, I sent you a present, for your birthday. Whatever. Thank you so much. That was very sweet of you. Thank you so much, right? I graciously received. I actually wear it. So she got me a bracelet, and it actually has that scripture on it. It actually has a scripture. I took a picture of the thing in my kitchen, and I was just like, I literally have this hanging in my house. I walk
Holy crap.
this. Don't just talk the talk. Walk it. I would
Mm.
say I am a walking Psalm 23. My favorite Psalm, Psalm
Yeah.
23. I am a walking, talking Psalm 23.
What is Psalm 23?
The one that starts off, the Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
Mm.
Right? He makes me lie down in green pastures. He, stills me in troubled waters. It's the one that goes like, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for the Lord is with me. And then at
Mm.
the end of it, it says, and surely, I love this part too, like, they'll prepare a table before my enemies, and surely they will know I am with God. And surely my cup runneth over in all areas of my life. Amen. Right? It's like Psalm 23. I love it. It's like it's another scripture that's kind of like around my house. But I just have these little scriptures that just constantly remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing, who I am, or being who I'm being, and that I do have a mission here. And I didn't always have that belief system. I literally was playing the 3D game, calling my bank account every day. Why are you calling your bank account every day? It's the same shit. But I was in such a habit of doing it. That was the
Yeah.
fear of money, the fear of lack, the fear. Money is just an energy on this planet. It is whatever you perceive it to be,
Yeah.
right? Whatever you're creating it to be, that's what it is.
We're proving nowadays that it doesn't come in just one form of currency either, like with all the other crap. But I mean, again, there's just so many layers that I think we're always trying to be this like one size fits all. You're here, that we're missing so much of the spectrum in so many different areas.
Yeah, the bigger, like, because I've become aware and I've been playing the astrology game, right? What planet is with what? I listen to it almost every single night. What am I expecting? What is going on here? What is going on? And then I observe the day. Ah, there it is. I see what's going on there. That last full moon on April 1st, the pink moon, full moon. So I'm diving deep. Like I'm already like, what's going on here? That moon was all about relationships. Not
Where
only relationships with other people, relationships with yourself, relationships with money. So if you notice, like even up until like Easter weekend, because you had it on a Wednesday, so usually, you'll get hit a little bit beforehand, and you'll get hit a little bit after, right? It's just the residual crap going on. I had such a crazy experience. It was April 1st was the full moon, second to third. By the 4th, which was the Saturday, the 4th, whole other story. But I literally had an exit point in my life. I could have died. Exactly. Dev happened to be I knew what it was. I was not scared. Not 1 ounce of me is scared to die. Not 1 ounce of me. I knew what it was. I knew it was an exit point. Dev happened to be with me. So she's like, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want?" I'm literally gray, convulsing. "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me?" I was like, "Keep your hand on my head." I literally like, keep my soul in my body.
Yeah. Tuck me in here. Don't let me out. Please put me in a bottle.
Exactly. So I have her doing this. We're pulling. I finally get to the point, right? I knew I was going to be exhausted after that. What we both pulled out and what we both witnessed had everything to do with past relationships of mine. I saw some crazy shit when I was like, in the tranced out mode of it. I saw some crazy stuff that was going back to like when I was 19 years old, 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, shit that you think like, why is this energy still there? But look, relationships. Then on Sunday on Easter, so I almost died. I'm exhausted, whatever. But I promised the kids I would make pot roast for Easter out in Pennsylvania. So I had an hour and a half drive, right? Well, I'm like, I could do it because I promised the kids. Right. Mommy says she's going to make pot roast. Her limbs could be falling off. I'm going to make you pot roast. Holy crap. Even if I have to go an hour, I literally should have stayed in bed the entire day. I really should have.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Pack everything up. I literally show up in Pennsylvania with, kid you not, 18 pounds of meat.
Like, mom has
Mom's
arrived.
cooking. Mom is cooking 10 pounds of potatoes, 4 pounds of asparagus. I'm here,
Holy
right?
crap.
Okay. But then I had noticed, like, when I came in, I had noticed, like, this energy coming off my son. Do you know my son, by the end of the night, had such a blowout at me of something? We figured out the root of it was actually something that happened in, like, 2018. So he was holding on to, but because I understood what the moon was governing, you see what I'm saying?
Oh my.
I didn't take him so seriously or personally.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Mm.
gonna entertain his shit. He knew that. I ain't entertaining your shit. I literally said to him, I'm like, you've had a wild hair up your ass since I showed up here today. I'm like, what the F, man? Like, what is your problem? And then the blow up happens. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
entertain it. I'm gonna leave. Right? I'm not entertaining your shit. Absolutely not. You said what you said. But then when I was talking to my daughter-in-law, we figured it out. It all came from something that he did not like from 2018. So you see, right, here's the relationship with my son, which is absolutely fabulous, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
Me and my kids are like
Yeah, you got
buds right there,
some
right?
superpower. You're like the Marvel squad over there.
They call me the badass mom. Like, you're
Love that.
badass. Yeah. But I understood what was going on. And I just had, like, this whole thing the day before, so I was like, "I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm,
He's out.
just leave it." But I understood that release needed to happen because obviously it was energy that he was harboring that was actually throwing off our relationship a little
Yeah.
bit, right? It wasn't a conscious thing every single day, but he was still harboring it, and he needed to get it out. Alright, cool beans. You cool? Alright, cool.
Yeah, having that tool like astrology and that knowing almost gave you another tool in your toolbox to assess the information that you
The
were
bigger
getting and that.
picture, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
the bigger picture of why he's blowing up, because I understood everything was with relationships. I understood that. So I became very consciously aware of, like I said, it could be a relationship with money too. So it doesn't even have to
Yeah.
be like people, right?
Habit.
It
Yeah.
could be like all of a sudden you're down some lack, uncertainty rabbit hole about money. The moon Nisa, I call the moon Nisa. Nisa's trying to show you. She's trying to show you. So, like, you're asking us for abundance.
Mm.
We want to give it to you. but you're
But
still carrying this belief system. So it looks like we got to give you a hit. So you change the belief system,
I love that. I
right?
think I think that's a whole nother rabbit hole, the whole astrology thing. And last point here is you said that
If you wanna
everything
do
like
that, I'll hook you up with Steph, man. I love Steph. She is just like the astrology she teaches is old school astrology, old
sick.
school shit. Yeah, because she had put together this presentation, this workshop, which I told them, we need her at the studio. I want her to do that workshop. Because what she said was, let's say I'm Aries, right? So you would think my everything was in Aries or whatever. And she's like, nah, your shit hasn't been in Aries for like 200 years. Like, yeah. She's like, she had shown us, she had like one of
Holy.
those stargazing apps.
Yep.
And let's say we were in Taurus season at the time. Let's say we were in Taurus season, and she had us literally, like, find the moon or whatever, so you would think the moon was in Taurus or something like that. Whatever it was, the sun, whatever it was. It was nowhere near Taurus. She's like, It's
Whoa.
on the app. You see, this is all misaligned. This is all off." So she reads astrology from the original. I don't remember the word for it. Dev would know it. See, Dev's my Webster dictionary. She knows all the
Ins-
fancy words. She would literally know the word for it, but it's some old school, old school,
old.
right? Old school astrology, and that's how she reads it. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. I'll definitely give you her information. She would do a podcast with you. She's, like, absolutely fascinating when she gets into the astrology stuff.
Well,
That's why sometimes when you read your horoscope, you're like, they put up this horoscope, like, "What are you even talking about? This doesn't even make any sense."
oh yeah. Or some of them are like spot on. You're like, hold on a minute. But again, I
Yeah.
think the one thing the whole astrology reminds me of the within, and then the mirror of like the outer world is how planets circle and gravity and like that whole they're using magnetism and they're operating with the universal's energy, like our internal bodies and like relationships function in the same way. Like you have celestial friends, you know what I mean? They're like you're in your orbit, you're orbiting around each other. There are so many mirrors and parallels to what nature provides and like how we could utilize nature as a tool to help.
Everything
Yeah.
is communicating with you. Everything. I try to tell people, like, if you see that weird animal, let's say I was in, when I
So
was
I
living
saw a
in
freaking
Lyndhurst.
I saw a weird animal today, Patty, and it has to do with this.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I saw a butterfly, but not because of me. Long story short, Sam Carlo's dog passed away. She's talking to the dog, telling the dog to show her a butterfly, but like a very specific looking butterfly. The next day, her dad
Um,
comes home, gives her a gift. It's literally a picture like of her dog holding the freaking butterfly that Sam pictured. So I'm telling my friend today, like about this story. I'm like, oh my gosh, my friend Sam lost her dog, the butterfly. I'm walking my dog. I'm getting attacked by this huge yellow butterfly. I'm like, you would
my
never.
god.
I took a picture of it because this thing is literally like flying like 2 inches over my head. I'm like, like it's not nowhere and it's just following me. What the freak is going on? I'm like, what are you trying to
See?
say, dude?
Yeah, but that I hope you sent it to Sam.
I did.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the perfect example. Or if you're just like tooling along. I remember one time I'm living in Lyndhurst, right, which is
Same.
not city like, but not really suburban either. It's just like your typical town. Houses are kind of close. You can have a pool in your yard. You're not knocking on your neighbor's window from your window, but everything's kind of pretty close. I'm taking my recyclables out at like 1:30 in the morning. So what are the odds? 1:30 in the morning, right? Because I'm a night owl, right? 1:30 in the morning, I'm taking the recyclables outside, and across the street is a coyote. A coyote. There are coyotes in Lyndhurst. We don't get coyotes in Lyndhurst. So, your typical wild animals are possum, raccoon,
Yeah.
maybe your occasional rat, I don't know, or a mouse or something, squirrel, not coyote. A coyote is literally, like, running down the street across the street. What are the odds of me going outside at that moment, at that time, and witnessing the coyote? So I know in that moment, Coyote is trying to bring me a message. I know in that moment. So the first thing I'm going to do, now, me personally, like when you start to get the weird animal and it's coming in, pick either one website or one way of getting your messages. Because
Mm.
people will Google it. They're going to Google spiritual meaning of coyote. And then 6,000 websites are going to come up and they're going to be like, no, it can't be that. Can't be that. Right? Oh, here's the way. Oh, you're going to win the lottery. You're going to, meet the love of your life. Oh, it must be that. Oh, that's what Coyote came to me to say. Right? So don't do that. I personally, anything that has to do with nature, especially animals. I always look up the Native American spiritual meaning of coyote.
Mm.
All my animal stuff goes to Native American Indians. Always. Always.
I like that. I love that
Because then
reference.
it's just what it is to them is what it is to me. So if coyote means like, be fair warned, some bullshit's about to happen, I'm going to take that. I'm not looking for the one that says you're going to win the lottery.
Watch out. Yeah. Don't just find what you're also thinking. Like you have to really truly align with, the resonance of the message and not just the surface level of whatever you're trying to believe.
Even with the angel numbers, pick, when you start to see the synchronistic numbers over and over and over again, which is not a coincidence. It's the universe bringing you into, you're in the circular pattern. Right? So you
Hmm.
must be at the top of the circle because now we're like having some synchronistic numbers. So let's just say 333. You keep seeing 333 all over the place. Pick one website, and always refer to that of what 333 is. So you don't keep going to that might make it fit into what you hope it would be because maybe there's something there that really wants to teach you or have you look. It was like Venus. I'm like, Venus, align me with blah, blah, blah. Venus, like, can't.
Goodbye. Go
Yeah, I'd
learn your
like to.
lesson.
I'd
Come
like to
back.
help you with that. But she showed me,
Hmm.
right? She showed me. I wasn't directly told. I knew to observe it. I knew it right off the bat. I was like, when I saw the words emotional imbalance come out of you, I'm like, oh, you just telling me I'm fucked up. All right. But I'll take
That's
it.
the nicest way to put it.
Take it. All right. So where is it unbalanced? Nobody said anything. Now I'm observing. And that was the word compassion.
And you
So
learn the
now I'm being
lesson.
fully aware of it.
There's a lot. It's really powerful. Any closing thoughts?
I think the thing I would tell people, and I think really, really, really pay attention to where your thought emotional energy is. Is it in love? Is it in fear? Is it in light? Is it in dark? Is it in God? Is
Mm.
it in the devil? Like, it doesn't matter. Everything falls underneath one of them. Which one are you serving? Are you serving doesn't mean I went to the homeless shelter and I did 3 hours of community work. It's not what that means. Which one are you serving means which one has your thoughts and emotions. I catch myself very quickly in especially the energy of like uncertainty. Uncertainty seems to be one of my nemesises, right?
Mm.
That kind of come at me. And I'm like, no, you don't need to be showing up today. I don't need to be entertaining you today because I am walking in faith. I'm walking in Look how I'll talk to it like it's a gnat, but it's a consciousness. It might be in the other realms, right? It's a consciousness. I know it hears me. Right? No, you have no power here. I'm not entertaining you. I am certain I am walking the path of God. That's what I'm certain about. And that's all I need. That's all I need to be. That's all I need to know.
Thank
Right?
you so
So I
much.
would tell
But
people it's one of the first steps. Don't watch the news. Why are you watching the news? They want you to be in fear.
yeah,
Stop being separated. It's not all these political parties. You are doing exactly what they want you to do. I keep saying, what you all don't realize is it looks like this big war is going on, and the three, Iran and Israel and United, they're all sitting in some back room somewhere, and they're like, look, they're all falling for it. They're all on the same fucking team.
yeah. We're the only ones not, and we gotta get with it and realize
Exactly. They want you look at all the as soon as those Epstein files came out, I was like, "Oh, here's some kind of exposure. They're gonna they're gonna distract everybody with some Charlie Kirk gets shot. Oh, stop paying attention to that. Look at that. Oh, you guys paying attention to that again? What can we muster up? A war. Let's start a war." Right?
truly, though,
Get them
it's
raise the gas prices. Get them in fear. Get them to stop looking at the exposure of things, right? And they're like,
keep
"Oh, well, we
throwing
can't
yeah,
expose everything because your governments, your governments would all collapse. Isn't that what we need? Hello?
the
I don't
reset,
see the
please.
bad thing in that. I'll take over for a while. They should let me take over, right, Taylor?
The
I'd be
world would
like,
be a lot more light, in the world, I think.
right. They should let me take over because I'm not taking anybody's shit. I don't care who you
Patty for
are.
president.
Can't
That's
even
the
say your
next
name, sir, but stop.
hold it right there.
Okay.
That's beautiful. I
Hey,
think
but
that's the next
that's what I would say to people. I would say become very consciously aware of where your thoughts and emotions are, because that's where it's gonna start. What is controlling you? What are you giving your power over to? Your identity, your power. Get into the true essence of who you are. And to go back to what Deb said, I would start off with meditation or whatever brings you light, whatever's in your passion, whatever brings you light. That's what I would say to people. Believe you are capable of amazing things.
yes, yes, yes. Patty, thank you so
I hope we
much
get to
for
do this again, Taylor. I enjoyed it so much. I always enjoy you.
Patty, thank you so
Amen.
much for your time. I appreciate
Amen.
you
I
so
love you,
much.
Taylor. Say hi to
Love
everybody
you.
for me.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.